You got a flag. People can't see it from around there.
Yeah, right behind me.
I just said Steve told you. I watched it in case he goes, look, it's
Thanks, man. Well, that's good.
not that right. It's a little later than that.
All right, 7:30.
Don't pick on the cool pants.
Presentation is going to take an hour and 59 minutes and 30 seconds. So need all the time to get. Good morning, everybody. Everybody hear me out there in Wonderland?
They're muted, so they're not going to answer.
Oh. Okay, I'm new at this. This is my first presentation in this training center. So. All right, I'm glad we have excellent participation. I hope to raise the roof, so to speak, this morning. I believe we set an all-time record for participation. We're at 125 people on our list. The old record was 84, I believe. So, awesome. Awesome. As you know, my name's Josh Webb. I'm the new guy at Kitchell. Scott Wheeler has been around 7, 8 years. 8 years. Our safety department. We got Kevin Bird out in San Diego. Kevin, you out there? No. Morning, Kevin. Special thanks, first of all, to a lot of people that got me going in this position. Pat Watson, of course, that was instrumental in getting our safety program together. Revision. Dave Lane, Jacobs. Mike Valesky here. He's always a good friend, someone to lean on. And also Scott, Kevin, Oscar, and Greg Porter at Chandler Region. Okay. So welcome. No one's smiling. All right. Today, we'll get to our objectives, but first of all, I like to get involved with the crowd. That's just the way I present. So for those of you that came here to sleep or not pay attention, it's going to be a bad day for you. All right? So here we go. First of which, we're going to do a thumb smackdown. You ready? You ready? Grab a partner. Grab a partner.
Oh, no.
All right, everybody out there in Wonderland?
Yeah, I want to practice. I've never done this before.
No.
So the objective here is in 30 seconds, I want to see how many pins you can do on your partner.
Do you
Three, one, go.
Wow, that's probably better.
All right, Carlos, how many pins did you have?
Two?
Two. Damn, anybody do two? Greg? Two. Dang, Brad? Jeremy, you won't let me up. You won't let you up?
I need to know how to answer recording.
Yeah, I was gonna file a workman's comp claim now. Danny, how many pins you get?
One. But I broke a nail.
George. One. Steve.
Two.
Dan. Two. All right. Okay, I told you what you need to do. Smackdown, thumb, press, whatever. When did we learn that when we were kids? Probably at a very early age, right? All right. Carlos, why don't you stand up? I told you to do a thumb smackdown, right?
Right.
All right. But I didn't tell you how to do it because we've always learned through life. We always fight, we wrestle, we try to pin the other person, right? Do you know how to get the most thumb downs, smackdowns?
Use your other hand.
Hold it in. Hold down. Just hold down. Okay. Just go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See? We should have had 60 in 30 seconds. Easy. Instead of 1 or 2.
I had 50.
That's maybe some way we think it's safe. All right. So after today, you get to know me a little bit. hopefully you'll see a different light, different perspective. And have a little fun, right? Everybody says safety is boring, but it's not. No. So objectives. I got 4 real quick, and they're personal. Not to waste your time and money. Okay? That's my first objective. And nobody's walked out yet, so that's good. Move on. To leave you with a different perspective how to make safety happen on your job sites. On your sites, in the office, wherever you're at. We're all a team. We're all employee owners, so we need to make safety happen. Also, provide you with field tools to improve your personal effectiveness. Okay? Good coaching, mentoring opportunities that hopefully we take to the next level and carry on out in the field. And also to gain a better understanding of how to use our safety intranet, which was launched 3 weeks ago, and also our safety manual, which was launched a couple, 3 weeks ago as well. And Scotty's going to be giving you the overview on that. Okay? So, anyway, so what is safety? Mike Dutton, what is safety?
What is safety?
Yeah. What does safety mean to you?
Coming in, doing your job, and going home the same way you came in.
Okay. All right. John Bunnell, what does safety mean to you? John's been with Kitchell for how many years? 34. Awesome. What does that mean to you, John?
Sure, everybody that's working on the job goes home safely
Every
every day.
day. Every day. Casey, what does safety mean to you?
No injuries.
No injuries. Good. Hannah,
Pretty much. Are we there?
stole your answer. Okay. Mike, what does safety mean to you?
I'll add to that, since I'm on the pre-con side, costs to ensure that we've got the items necessary to keep people safe.
Okay. Strategical answer. Good. Pat Watson, what does safety mean to you?
Safety means going home the same way you came to work.
Okay. Malevsky, what does safety mean to you?
No one gets hurt inside the fence or outside the fence.
Awesome. Good. So we're all uniform, collectively, we pretty much have the same answer. Everybody wants to go home safe. Okay? This is just basically a roundabout way of saying what is safety. Basically, we all share the same values, behaviors, and culture that gets results. Okay? We'll get to the results later, because that's basically a lagging indicator, but we'll get to that. Okay? So what are values? Basically our moral and philosophical compass. All right? Brad Gable, how many values do we have at Kitchell?
How many values?
What are our values? Kitchell, don't look over there.
We got,
5, 6. So we have more than that. How about 7? You know anyone?
honesty and integrity.
Okay. So I'm going to hand out a candy bar to everybody I pick on. 3 Musketeers, right? It's got a message on it. Safety is a team sport. Work together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me share that candy bar.
That's not safe for you, you better pass it over here.
Dave McDermott, give me another one.
Hang on a second, I gotta get my glasses. Quality work services.
Okay. Don't be a dud. Support safety. Share it if you want. Who else want to pick on? Anybody want to volunteer? Brian Bernardo.
Manage change effectively.
Say that again.
Manage change.
Good. Don't snicker at safety. Anybody else? Nicole.
Profitability.
Dang. I can mess up the first one. Butterfingers. Positive control. Don't let safety slip away. Good answer. We got 2 more?
People development.
What's that?
People development.
Who said that? All right, George. George is our safety star. Starburst. Thanks, George. Got another one?
Customer satisfaction. Keep
Who said that? Casey. Working safe is payday.
Heyday. Thanks, sir.
One more. Why are we here? I missed that answer. Did I miss that answer? No. Why are we here? Why are we here? David, why are we here? Safety. Damn right. Safety. That's it. That's our value. 7. I've been here 3 months now. That's okay. All right. So, talked about our values. One that's very dear to my heart is excellence. I always talk about excellence. Okay? And that's one of my core safety values that I'd love to share with all of you guys. And that's basically to be more perfect in safety. What can we do better? We all can get better. Let's just get better. Okay? I got a little quote here. Brett, can you read that?
It's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are.
What does that mean to you? By the way, Roy Disney is the nephew of Walt Disney. He's dead now, but he was worth $1.5 billion. But anyway.
If it's part of your personal core values, then it's easy for you to make those decisions if it matters to you.
Excellent. Okay. So what? Moving on from that, what are our behaviors? Anybody know what a behavior is? Rick, you know what behavior is. You've been around all the guys.
How you act.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Good. Okay. An observable act. That's all it is. That's a behavior. So there's 2 kinds of behaviors, right? For the superintendents. Mike, give me one. Either you're working safe or unsafe, right? So you have at-risk behaviors and you have safe behaviors. Which one do you want on your job? Safe, right? Okay, so again, if we make it positive on our jobs, we can do these things, okay? And I've talked about these before in our meetings. We have coaching, mentoring, engagement, empowerment, positive reinforcement, motivation, and caring. Okay? All right. We often hear negative consequences when it comes to safety, right? Negative connotations. We talk negative to our own family a lot, right? There's been a lot of studies done, and one of the recent ones is, for those of you that have kids, pretty much for every 10 negative comments to your kids, there's 1 positive. Now you know why some of our kids are screwed up. So think about that when you talk to your kids tonight. All right? We want to focus on positive reinforcement. But we got to get there first. Okay? A lot of jobs are, sometimes we struggle with that. We need to reach out and get help. That's why we're here. Okay? So, to give you an example of a negative behavior, Dan Pierce here. Dan? I don't know your wife's name. What's your wife's name?
Pam.
What is it?
Pam.
Pam. Okay? Give you an example. Dan and Pam went to a party last Saturday night. Dan just happened to be the life of the party. All right? They didn't get home until 1 in the morning. Very late. Most of us are in bed by then. And, having a good time, life of the party. The next day, everything's going good, then all of a sudden at dinner time, Pam says to Dan, I want to talk to you about your behavior last night at the party. You think we're going to get a positive statement or a negative statement out of that?
Negative.
See? That's what I'm saying. You got to change your perception. All right. Not going. All right. So what is a safety culture? What is our culture? Or what should our culture be?
Well, it's based on the Kitchell's policies and behavior throughout many years, collected, on many jobs, for your job, and it's been implemented as a policy for those that are going to the jobs that know what to do in case of an incident and how to stay safe, basically.
All right. So basically, it's our shared beliefs. It could be at the top of Dan, Swanson, our management, upper management team, our project managers, superintendents, all the way down to the field. Okay? We gotta lead by example. That's the bottom line. Okay? So basically, most of the time, no one's watching you when you're in the field, right? But it's up to you to make the right choice. That's what safety is. What you're doing when no one's watching. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about some leading indicators. You think leading indicators is positive or negative? Positive. That's what I try to focus on, positive stuff. So basically, it's a metric that we can use to evaluate a process before outcomes occur. Layman's terms, what are we doing to prevent accidents? Okay, what are we doing in the field? What are we doing in the office? How are we communicating before they actually occur? Okay? Again, a leading indicator is what are we observing? And typically this is in the field. What are we observing in the field? Okay? Are we being proactive? Okay, are we getting involved? Are we getting engaged? Are we communicating? Or are we just letting it run like it will without any supervision? Okay? That's what we're talking about. Now DuPont, you guys have all heard of DuPont, right? They basically spend more money than any organization of safety in the world. They have what we call a DuPont Bradley curve. This just nails it right on the head, right here. This is basically summarized everything I could talk about. They've done extensive research on injury rates and how people participate with their companies. As you see here, if you're a reactive person, which is negative, these are the things that happen. Safety by instinct, compliance is the goal. We rely on the safety managers to do everything, and there's a lack of management involvement. All right? We're talking all the way up, down, top down. Gotta get involved. We move on to dependent, and then independent, and then bam, injury rates the lowest with teamwork, correct? We're helping others conform. We're brothers keepers. We care for others, and we take pride in kitchen. Okay? Care for others. Okay. So this is what we want to create, is an interdependency right here as a team. Okay? That's when we'll reach excellence. All right. So I'm going to get into some other things, just definitions. Bear with me. This is going to be posted on our safety intranet. So those of you that don't attend or want to use it as a reference, the stats will be there. The definitions will be there. Okay?
Is that curve going to be there too?
Yes. The whole PowerPoint. Okay. Casey, what does that say? What is an accident?
Unplanned or unintended event that results in personal injury or property damage.
Okay. Intentional action that one that a worker knows or might result in injury but does anyway. We're talking about distractions. Talking about pressure, lack of focus. Okay. Sometimes they do it anyway, and that's when we get accidents. How about an incident? Brad, what does that say? Oh, it's last one, Brad.
The undesired event that did or could have resulted in personal harm or property damage.
Okay. So at Kitchell, we refer to incidents. Superintendents, right? Raise your hands in-house. Okay, what do we have as incidents on our incident report? What are the classifications of incidents?
Personal.
Okay? Just a hint, they're listed.
Near miss.
Near miss? Hazardous condition, we had that rant last week. We had a field spill, right? 150 to 200 gallons. We responded very well. That's good. Okay. Other lagging indicators. Lagging indicators, good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Okay. This is the unfortunate side of safety I don't like, because this is just reaction stuff. Okay. We have an accident, it's all done. We got to move on, but we got to still inspect the path, investigate, whatever. EMR. Anybody heard of an EMR? Experience modification rate. This is basically the premium that is charged for insurance based on our loss experience. This is the last 3 years. Okay, they all base this on our severity of accidents and the frequency of accidents. And they compare this to other contractors in our SIC or NAIC code. Okay, this insurance company comes up with a number. All right? You see a bunch of numbers there. 0.62. Okay, in layman's terms, 1.0 is average. Okay, so if you're at 0.62 you're paying 62 cents for $1 worth of insurance, right? If you're 1.1, you're spending $1.10 for $1 worth of insurance. So, 0.62, is that good? I'd say that's really good, really good. That's Arizona KCI, which is, what, Phoenix, Texas, everybody but California. California is 0.73. Okay, is that good? Yeah, it's really good. Just so you know, we're part of ACIG, the Insurance Through Workers' Comp. There are 40 members associated with ACIG. Where do you think Kitchell is on that list? Number 4 each year. Is that good? That's very good.
Good.
Very good. But we can do better. Okay, the OSHA TIR, total reportable injury rate. We've heard that, right? OSHA incident rate. Basically, you got 10 accidents in a year, you multiply that by 200,000, divide that by your man hours. That'll give you a number. So what's our number? 1.65. Is that good? That's good. We are half of the national average. Awesome. How about our OSHA lost time incident rate? The same thing. How many lost times times 200,000 divided by your man hours? Danny, what is that number? What's our lost time rate? What's that? What's our lost time rate? 0.73. Yep. 0.73. Is that good? This is the national average. We are half. Awesome. We also have our DART rates, days away, restricted transfer duties. Okay? Those are another reporting stats that we have. And then also, finally, is our severity rate. Basically, how many lost days we had divided by your number of reportable injuries. Okay? All right. Again, negative. So why do accidents happen? Why do incidents happen? It's simple. You either have an unsafe or hazardous condition, or we have a hazardous act. Okay? Either it's going to be unrecognized or uncorrected, one or the other. Good example is housekeeping. That is a condition. We said something, but they didn't clean it up. Somebody got hurt. Okay? That's uncorrected, but it was recognized. Unrecognized could be many things. We have an excavation, might be only 2 feet deep, but a guy trips over and falls and sprains his ankle. Okay? Maybe he didn't recognize it. Hazardous acts, that's where we come into play, more so than the conditions, because we're good at conditions. It's just acts is what gets us. So this is basically like people are unable or unaware of the hazard. All right? So, they're basically improperly motivated. I'll give you an example. Before coming to Kitchell, I spent 2 years working in Louisiana. And I'm happy to be in Phoenix. Let's just say that. Back there, we have fire ants like you wouldn't believe. Everywhere. Everybody but dead by a fire ant, you're bite all the time. It hurts. So we know what ants are, right? We're unique about ants. You have a hill, right? An ant hill. Okay, ants typically stay together, and they like to stay close to their hill. Okay? However, this goes unrecognized, and people aren't properly motivated. The ants are going to invade your house in that case, in this case, your project. That's why we have to get a handle on our unsafe conditions. Very simple analogy, right? So, that's where you guys come into play. Takes leadership. Okay? It's your choice. Either you lead or you don't. That's pretty simple. I often ask people when I go on the jobs, this is what leadership means to me. What did you do to motivate and influence the workers on your job? Simple. If I have to wait 30 seconds for an answer, then that's a good coaching opportunity. But they should be able to tell me right now, what are we doing? What are we doing to motivate? What are we doing to influence people or workers on the job? What's working for us? And then maybe discuss some challenges. All right? Anyway. Leadership. Okay. Who is that picture of that, Mike?
Question.
Who is it? George Washington. What does that say? What is a leader?
A great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion, not position.
Okay. I think we all agree he's a great leader, correct? Founding fathers. Father. That's the good thing about leadership. It can come from everybody. Everybody in this room, everybody in Wonderland, anybody can be a leader. Okay? But it takes the vision. So what is our vision? Our vision is nobody gets hurt. I'm not talking just about Pitchell employees, I'm talking about sub-employees too. Okay? That's our vision, that's our goal. That takes work, it takes a long time. We can't forget our vision. All right, so to have this culture of success or vision, we talk about balance. All right? There's 4 things we got to keep in balance in our daily lives. Experience, focus, pace, and knowledge. Okay? Which 2 of those do you think apply to workers in the field more than any of them? Any ideas?
Pace and focus.
Experience.
Wrong.
Pace.
It does, but not as much.
Pace.
What's that?
Pace.
Pace, exactly. What do you mean by pace?
Just how fast they get their work done, deadlines, schedule,
Yep.
expectations.
Exactly. What else? What else think it as applies to the field?
Focus.
Focus. What do you mean by that, Brent?
If they're not concentrating on things they're doing, if they're worried about other things going on in their lives, so,
Right.
you know,
Right. So where do incidents usually occur? Those 2, right? So we're out of focus, okay? We're not paying attention, or pace, okay? Our Banner clinics, for example, whip the chain, get it done in 5 months. It's not easy, it's very difficult. But they got to maintain their focus and direct the team. We did a really good job. Mike, David, Philip, Rick. Well done. Challenging job, correct? More so than the normal job, but you did a good job, and we had good results. All right. So, if you remember one thing, think of the 3 E's. I'm going to get to it right now, and this really applies to a lot of people in the field. Okay. If we're going to have success in safety, just think of the 3 E's. Expect, exhibit, emphasize. When do we expect safety on the job? Somebody.
All the time.
All the time. But when does it start?
First minute.
First minute. What do we do in our first minute? We give them safety orientation, right? How many of you on your job say, you know what? Thanks for coming to work for a company that is committed to your safety. Anybody ever say that? Or we just saying, oh, here's the checklist, read this. We're not. Isn't that a powerful statement? Thanks for coming to work for a company that is committed to your safety. Bam! Right off the bat. That has an impact. Exhibit. What do we mean by exhibit? Daily lead. If you're a superintendent, you're going to exhibit safety. What are you doing?
If you exhibit safety, you're gonna make sure that everybody's the same. If safety glasses is a deal, it's safety glasses for everybody, hard hats, whatever it is.
Right. Good answer.
Don't walk by them.
We don't want to send a confusing message, right? We want the same message for everybody. Walk the talk, right? And finally, emphasize. Rick, how do we emphasize safety?
Enforce it.
Right. So good coaching opportunities, positive feedback, that good stuff. Okay. All right. This next slide is titled, "Would you watch out for my safety?" I went to a seminar 2 weeks ago in Vegas. This author, John Grebinger, is a phenomenal speaker. I gave a copy to Dan. Dan read it, loved it. Pat, reading it, likes it. It's a great book. It's 80 pages. It'll take you 2 hours to read that. The simplest safety message you could have. And it's well worth the read. Okay? He came up with five things about safety. And it's interesting because after I went to this, when I went to California last week, I started using a couple of his ideas. And it works really well. First thing is, ask an employee, superintendents. Ask them this simple question. Say, hey, would you like me to watch out for your safety? Would you like me to watch out for your safety? Are they going to say yes? Are they going to say no? I mean, who would say no? Do we want that person on the job? All right? Simple. Second one is, Carlos is here. Carlos is on top step of the step ladder. Not safe. Carlos not being safe. I come up to Carlos and say, if I were you, Carlos, I think I would think about stepping down because you can get hurt and that'll impact our whole team here. And he'd be like, thank you. Is he gonna say no, screw you? Hopefully not. Two simple messages, okay? So, the story goes as follows. John rents the third person, but he lives near Sacramento, California, all right? Out in the country. So one day he makes a lot of speaking engagements across the country, so his wife is in the passenger side, taking him to the airport in a van. It's dawn, the light's basically coming up, sun, and all of a sudden there's a cow on the damn road. All right? John doesn't see it. He's probably thinking about, okay, what am I going to talk about in my seminar? But his wife sees it. Says, John, there's a cow. Quick, stop, or swerve. So he does it. He misses it. Barely misses it. Okay? So he gets to thinking, man, I could have really got hurt. But I didn't tell anybody else about the cow along the road. So another guy comes, he found out later, came and hit the cow. But he didn't get hurt. All right? But John's thinking further. It's like, you know, what if it was a mom with 3 kids in the minivan that hit the cow and all got hurt? So that's the message. Okay? We need to watch out for people. Be aware. Okay? People get distracted. Okay? Everybody here gets distracted. And when you got a saw in your hand or a dangerous tool, it's not a good time to be distracted. But we get distracted. So that's why we have to be aware. People have cognitive failures. Okay? A good example is, you have keys? Yep. Okay, sure. Okay, I come in my house. I lay my keys down right here. All right? I look, how many of us have gone through this? I know all this. You look around, you can't find your keys. You look in the rooms, you look in the bathroom, the bedroom, and you ask your wife, where's the keys? They're right here. Right in front of you. It's cognitive failure. Okay? They're there, but we don't see it. How many of you would want to suffer the pain knowing you could have prevented an injury and didn't? Okay? I know I've talked to a lot of guys with our fatality, we had a PCH, and they have struggled because they were on that job. So you got to think of that way. You know, you don't want, if you see something, you don't say something, you got to live with it. That's not easy. It's not easy. And finally, it's the right thing to do. Safety is the right thing to do. So, moving on to accountability. The alphabet. Not A, B, C, D, it's A, C, B, E. So, basically, accountability builds culture, which influences behavior that results in excellence. Okay? I know at Kid Show we're going to be world class. I mean, that's why I signed up. I want to be the engine with all your help. But we can get there down to accountability. On the job, up above, everywhere. All right, simple bridge to excellence analogy here. Okay? There's 2 kinds we've already talked about. One is reactive, the other is proactive. If your current performance is managing your failure rate, which is lagging indicators, if that's what safety is all about, then we're going to be over here. We're looking at compliance. We're looking at the rules, and we're looking at enforcing the rules. Got to get over the other side of the bridge. Over to this pillar, where it's about the workers, our culture, our focus, reinforcement, and our influence. Okay, leadership, motivation, influence. That is sustainable excellence. Okay? Teamwork. Remember that Bradley curve? The fewest amount of incidents happen with teamwork. That's where we got to be. Okay. All right, just a little overview. Summarize, safety is not this. All right? I don't think a superintendent can be on the job all day and just say, you know what, I got paid and I didn't say a damn thing about safety all day. That's not going to work. Right, Danny? All right. Right. Okay? Safety is not the stubborn mule that is not acceptable to change. Okay, we're pushing them all the time, but he's stuck in the way in the past. Okay, we got to get to the future. Safety is about where we're going, not where we've been. Okay? Real quick. even though we're focusing on safety here today, I'm not saying safety is a priority. I will never say it's a priority, because I know it better. I've been on jobs where it's not the priority. So why do we kid ourselves and say it is a priority? But we gotta have balance. We gotta stay in balance. Balance with our productivity, our quality, and our safety. Okay? We need to be present. Okay? It doesn't have to be just on the job level. You can be present here. We gotta engage. One of our project directors talking about safety. Okay? We gotta talk about the message, get it down. And we gotta be balanced. What were those 4 things about being balanced? Knowledge, focus, pace, experience. All right. Now, there's rules and there's rules, right? For example, you're driving down the freeway. Speed limit is 65, right? How many of us drive 65 or less? Anybody?
I do, as long as in front of me driving slow.
But really, don't we all like, okay, I was taught when I got my driver's license at 16, I can go 7 miles over the speed limit, 72, I won't get caught, right? That's how it's supposed to be. Stoplight, you're out in the country, it's a red light, and there is no one around, nobody. And you've waited there for 60 seconds, and you're like, I got places to go. But it's still red. Do you go? Maybe not. I'm on the job site where we have some individuals that don't like to wear safety glasses. But it's a minor infraction, so they think. But, you know, I'm busy, and, you know, I just can't get to it. Minor infraction, right? These all add up. That's what I'm trying to get to, all right? If you think like that, we're going to get bit. We're going to get bit hard. And it has happened, and it can happen again. All right? So basically, my message is safety is a journey, not a destination. We are improving. We're working together as a team every single day. Confucius says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Now, this might be a big step for some people, but it might be simple, change. But nonetheless, we got to take the first step. And finally, starting today, what are we going to do differently? How are we going to get better? How are we going to communicate better? How are we going to engage with people better? How are we going to show our visible leadership, our transformational leadership? Transformational leadership is basically getting the dang job done, but you care about people. Okay? If you truly want change, you got to get here and here. That's how people change. That's the question. How are we going to do it? Okay? Any questions? I know I philosophize a lot, but that's me. That's my passion. And I want to help to make sure we are all there. So whatever we can do, myself, Scotty, Kevin, any management, just reach out, ask. We want to help. All right. That's part 1. We all still alive out there?
Yes. Yes.
I told you 125 people showed up for today. That's a record. I also know that 92 people have clicked on the website for the safety internet. That's great. So in case you don't know how to get there, we just want to quick navigate through it for you, okay? It's either here on the slider, which is probably going to disappear in a week. Usually it's only up there for a couple of weeks. Or we just click on our company. Hopefully you can follow out there in Wonderland. Or we could just go down to KCI over to safety. Maybe. Okay. By show of hands, how many of you looked at this? Safety internet. fantastic. I encourage all of you to go on there. It is truly a great resource for those of you that are busy out in the field and in the office. Okay. You get a chance, if you haven't, just go ahead and click on this message. That's just basically my message for where we want to go as a company. Okay. The bottom, the last sentence is never forget what you do matters. It truly does. Because you all have an impact on our safety. Okay, we want to talk about leading indicators, right? Not lagging indicators. All right. This is going to be updated all the time. So you got to keep it fresh. People want to keep coming back to it. You got to keep it fresh. Today's presentation, although it's not on there now, it will be on there in the next couple days. Okay. Another link we're adding is our safety orientation video. This is the latest one with 2012. No offense, but Mark Pendleton isn't our president anymore. And I know there's a few jobs that show that video. Let's not show that video anymore. Okay? We've got to keep up with the times. Dan is proud to be the president, so we need to look at Dan on our video. Unmute phones. All right. Everybody's working from home. How many of you have downloaded this app for safety? Heat stress. Great tool, right? Punch in the degrees and the humidity, and bam. You got some good information. You don't know it's hot, God's sakes. Of course it's hot. But it gives you some takeaways from that and what you can communicate with the work. Anybody have any guys go down this summer with heat stress? Anybody have to sit down, go home, or sit in an air-conditioned truck? Any superintendent? Doing okay there? Okay. We like to keep current on our success on our jobs. Okay. So here, for example, was we had a luncheon a few weeks at Chandler Regional. We had a couple hundred people there, and they had 150,000 man-hours, and nobody went hurt. Nobody. Phenomenal job to that team out there. Thank you. Over here on the right is our quick links. Okay, Scotty's going to go through the safety manual here in a few minutes, and that's where you can go to get it. All right. So please do me a favor. Any of you have our old manual out there? Just throw it in the trash. It's no good. Okay, you can have an electronic copy, or if you prefer to print it. Because some guys like to read paper, that's fine too. Just make sure you have the most recent manual.
Oh, OSHA inspector, if they ever show up for the job, they go and look electronic, they go and look at hard copy.
OSHA is finally moving in the direction where they can look at electronic. Same with training, sign-in sheets, all that stuff. It can be electronic. Okay, here is our most common forms that we use in safety. And we had them alphabetized because I was going crazy looking for something, like cranes. I'm like, why is it at the bottom? So that's alphabetized. There are some new ones there. So if you look at the dates, like a Kitchell store, our safety order form, we'll get to that in a minute. Our energized system requests, that's a favorite topic for many of you. Emergency action plans, okay, these are all added or changed. So please take a look at that. Our safety store. Okay, Arizona Glove and Safety, I've had a good working relationship with them for many, many years. They have the best prices, they have the best service. And typically if you're in town, they'll get to you that day. Okay, so this is a quick, easy form for you guys at your job. Just do a PO or invoice, what have you. But this is all the stuff that are the most common items that we want to use on our jobs. Our Kitchell vests, our safety glasses, our hard hats and gloves, earplugs, dust masks, and then first aid kits, right? Face shields with the lenses, the fall protection, our labor posters, state and labor, state and federal labor posters, okay? They have all that. So why not go to one place and make it easy? That's good for you guys. KTCSA. of great. Anyway. Brent, you know what the KTCSA is, right? Well, how many of you know what the KTCSA is? Get your trade contractor safety line. Okay? It has been stagnant for a little bit, but we're going to get it going. Our next meeting is August 1st. So, from that, we can have several takeaways. Hopefully, we can apply it to Kitchell and vice versa. Okay? So, the neat thing about the KTCSA is, as a general, or as Kitchell, we share a lot of the same subcontractors as our other GCs, right? So it's a great forum for us to talk to these subs, so they know where we are as far as our culture goes. And another company might expect the same thing, so it's good. It's a good reference. Quick safety. For you superintendents that are, anyway, superintendents that are taking the 30 hours, show of hands, anybody? Okay, so you know what that is. Our senior project superintendents are highly encouraged to go through that by the end of the year, preferably. So please do that. Now, one thing I added that's really beneficial, I think, for you guys is the toolbox talks. Okay, I added 66 of them, and there'll be more coming. A lot of guys will say, you know what, we've been through the same dialogue, same topic over and over. We're sick of it. So I went out and got some, and I downloaded them here with safety forms. So for you guys that are doing your monthly or weekly or bi-monthly safety meetings, they're here for you. Okay? It's a good tool. Useful links. And, okay, I don't know why IT got into this, but there's other useful links that you can use that are related to safety. That'll be right there. And then also our product recalls. Okay. I think safety impacts all of us, not only at work, but at home. So recall this is everything. It'll be your harnesses at work. It could be your baby stuff at home, or lawnmower, or car, or whatever. Recall will be on. Okay? And then here at the bottom, there's also OSHA updates as well. Good or bad? Does that help? Is that going to be helpful for you guys? I'm all ears. So if you do have any recommendations, please let us know. We'll put them on there. I'd love to share the success stories that we're doing out there, because everybody should know. I'm a big philosopher, believer in seeking success, and that's one way to do it. Any questions on the leadership vision part of it, or the safety intranet part of it? Again, just go to our companies, click on KCIs, and go over to safety. It's quick and easy. Any questions there? Nope. All right, thank you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Scott Wheeler, and Kevin Burke will be out there in California. He is going to assist on this because we have a lot of subscripts on our manual that are noted as Cal OSHA standards. So I don't want to spend I don't want to spend much time on Cal OSHA, but you just got to know it's there. And Kevin over in San Diego or California will help that team out, or teams there in California. So Kevin is a walking encyclopedia. He knows the standards really well over in California, so if you don't know, and you're working over there, please reach out to Kevin. Okay. Anybody wants to read this book, let me know. I'll get you a copy.
All right, everyone, my name is Scott Wheeler. You guys all should know me by now. I don't have any candy bars. Or my sweet boys. All right, who here remembers the old safety manual when it was just 25 pages?
Come on, John.
So it was nice, right? Literally it was, we want you here at Kitchell. Don't kill yourself. That's pretty much the way it was. Alright. Okay, we've obviously changed it. Okay, we're on version 4. Okay. That doesn't mean this is like, that hasn't been updated. That just means 4.0. So probably by the end of the year it'll be 4.8, 4.9. So Right now we're on version 4. Okay, it's 104 pages. So I should tell you that we put a lot of effort into it. Okay, so that's the big thing we want to talk about here. So, all right, so Josh talked about the Safety Internet. Biggest thing that we wanted to talk to you guys about the Safety Internet was that it is meant for ease of use and ease of finding. How many of you guys at one time tried to find a safety document and said, can't find it, give up? I mean, I'll raise my hand to that one too. It was a pain in the butt. So this one right here is easy to use and easy to find stuff, which is great. All right, so again, we're going to talk about the new Kitchell Safety Manual, the changes from old to new. This was a great experience for me. I literally had to go through each page on each manual and go through it and find the changes. So, good for you. Yeah, it's great stuff. So, all right, you're going to notice some things, and I do want audience participation, so that's going to be important. Okay, so we're going to talk about the table of contents. This is new, that's old. See any differences? I mean, I could read them all off to you. You see any differences? None.
All the details.
No, we're very close. Table of contents. Again, this is more, I know it's getting smaller print, but exactly the same. Again, exactly the same. Okay, so table of contents hasn't changed, so it's still the same major bullet points. Now the sub-content in each topic has changed, okay, and we'll talk about those. Okay, some of the subtopics have changed or have been completely removed. Old system went off. The old, basically, is like instead of page numbers, which I thought was kind of a pain in the butt, you know, go to section 16.1. Well, which page is that? It makes it easier. Okay, so the new one is, for example, Fleet Services, section 16, page 103. So it's a lot easier to find stuff. Okay. At the bottom of each page, if applicable, the state and federal or state regulations number, basically you'll see stuff like this. Okay, that's hyperlinked. So like with this right here with the T8, that's Title 8, which is California, you can click on it, and it will take you to this. Okay. So it gives you more information.
Is Kevin Bird out there?
I'm out here.
Hey, you want to comment on the California Cal-OSHA subscript?
Basically, what I did is went through the safety manual and footnoted any changes between our policy and the Cal-OSHA regulation. And basically, all the information you're going to need is at the bottom. There are quite a few changes. Instead of linking it into the safety manual the way we did it before, it's all been basically put at the bottom of the sheet for you.
Everything is hyperlinked, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got hyperlink.
All right, yeah.
You don't have to go look into another manual. You just click onto it, and it's going to take you right to the Cal-OSHA standard, how it differs from OSHA, the federal standard.
Thanks, Dave. All right. So that's nice. That's a nice new feature. Okay. So it's again ease of use. You're going to be looking for stuff. All right. This was not in the old safety manual, but this is in the new safety manual. And this basically describes our purpose behind this. Okay. The purpose of this standard is to define the safety requirements for all Kitchell projects and associated work sites. Personnel, contractors, and others under Kitchell will follow the requirements of this manual. This standard contained herein are in accordance with industry best practices, applicable OSHA regulations. Where conflicts exist between manual, client expectations, or regulatory requirements, the most protective shall be used. So basically the most stringent, whichever is going to be harder. Okay. When this standard is silent in a matter, the host state, nation, province, or U.S. OSHA regulations shall prevail, whichever is most stringent. Again, okay. The way I look at this is OSHA, federal OSHA. You think that's the best stuff, the most stringent standard, or the bottom of the barrel? Bottom of the barrel, right? Okay. Everything else above that is going to be more stringent, but you got to look at what the owner requires, what the Kitchell requires, what the state requires, and stuff like that. This is something to think about. And it wasn't in the old manual, so it kind of is good. It plainly states it. All right, responsibilities. You're going to see a reoccurring theme here. I'll point out towards the end. Okay, the president has primary accountability for the overall planning and direction of the safety program. Okay, one of his other responsibilities, enforce all aspects of the safety program. Vice President of Operations, Pat, assigned the accountability of the staffing and execution of the safety program. Enforces all aspects of the safety program. Safety Director ensures implementation of the Kitchell Safety Program throughout the company. Again, enforces all aspects. So you're seeing enforces all aspects, right? You might not be a division manager, a safety manager, project director, safety regional manager, project manager. You might not be any of those. You could just be a new hire, right out of college. It's the wet behind the ears. First time living out of mom and dad's basement. Who knows? We're all required to enforce all aspects of the safety program. Because we're Kitchell, right? One Kitchell. Okay. So this is a big one. We want to make sure we're doing that. And that goes from the top down. It's not from the bottom up, from the top down. Okay. All right, I like this one. Who's that ugly guy? Danny. Is that Danny? All right, so told him I needed a picture, and so he went to put on his glasses, trying to be all tough. So, Kitchell Senior Superintendents, Project Superintendents, System Project Superintendents. Okay. Enforce all aspects of the safety program. The reason why I went into more detail on this is because really, they're the ones on the job. They're the ones who are directing traffic, controlling the overall project. Obviously, yes, they have oversight, but really, they're the ones coaching the game, leading the game. Okay, responsible for implementing the Kitchell Safety Program on the project has ultimate authority with respect to safety for activities on the assigned project. Ensures all safety planning is conducted or completed to include but not limited to project-specific safety plan with emergency action plan, all necessary safety pre-construction meetings and pre-task planning. Ensures daily inspections of the jobs that are conducted, observations and corrective actions shall be documented. It's a big thing right here. I should have highlighted this and made this bold, put big old stars, maybe a couple fairies, who knows, just jump out at you. Documentation, what's the big thing that OSHA's trying to do right now? If it's not documented, it what? Never happened. And if you document it, you document an OSHA issue or a safety issue, and you never put in the date corrected, OSHA's gonna be like, never corrected, it's still open. Okay. So if you document something, you gotta make sure you cross your T's, dot your I's, bold it. So you gotta make sure you're doing all the right things. Okay, all attempts shall be made to immediately correct any discrepancies discovered. Discrepancies that cannot be immediately corrected require protection or guarding to prevent exposure to workers, and then follow up to ensure final corrective measures are implemented. Follow up. Got to make sure. You can't be corrected immediately because maybe the issue is so large. You got to make sure you follow up. You can't just say, well, I've written it down, I've documented it, I've done my part, I'm good to go. Okay, you got to make sure you follow up and you document it. Okay, ensures subordinate KCI supervision, conduct daily safety inspections, ensures corrective measures are taken when deficiencies are identified. Okay, this right here, online, we have the, just the general safety inspection. Okay, who remembers the old safety inspections when they were points-based? Okay, I mean, when I remember it was John Heil was the safety manager. And if you scored more than 50 points, you lost 5% of your safety incentive. Is that about right? About right, right? And it was a negative. Negative, negative, negative. You know what? I'm going to rub your nose in it. You did something wrong. Okay? That's the old plan. So the plan that's on there right now, it has points on it, but we're getting rid of that. So it's not negative. Okay? So it's just, okay, we saw these. You can look at it one of two ways. You can correct everything you saw, right? Mark it. This was right, this was right, this was right. Or you can check it as you need to work on this. Okay? But you got to make sure you do something. All right. Safety deliverable. What was was that attached to 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Bonuses. Do we get safety bonuses anymore? No. Does that mean that this is gone? Okay. Been asked a lot of questions by a lot of different job sites, and this is a question I couldn't even answer. Okay. We're still required to do an annual safety deliverable. Okay. Do you guys know what a deliverable is? Okay. Yeah, I'll click on it. Alright. When you're filling this out, it's pretty simple. What is this year's most high-risk safety hazard that you're going to be doing this year on this project? And if your job goes 3 years, you're going to do 3 of them. Okay. It could be a week, could be a month, could be the whole duration of the project. So you're just going to break it up. But you got to fill out this form. Okay, you're going to talk about, basically, must be measurable. How are you going to measure it? Some of the unique challenges, steps that you're going to take to make sure you accomplish the deliverable. And then, obviously, you got your signature blocks down on the bottom. This is a company-wide policy and requirement. All right. Safety engineers and coordinators, again, enforces all aspects of the safety program. How many coordinators and engineers do we have with Kitchell right now for safety? We got 2. Greg Porter out at Chandler Regional and Oscar out at UC Davis, or UC Jacobs. UC San Diego, Jacobs, whatever. So those are 2 guys. We used to have coordinators on every single project. Remember that? Okay. Reports to and assist senior project superintendents with daily safety issues, ensures site-wide enforcement of project-specific safety plan, Kitchell safety manual, applicable federal and state OSHA standards. They're the superintendent's right-hand man. They're there to make the superintendent more comfortable. Okay, subcontractors. Okay, all subcontractors or other prime contractors shall immediately report all incidents and provide project superintendents with a copy of the incident report within 24 hours. Is this being met? No. By the time, half the time we get this stuff, it's like a week later. Or we're told by a sub, hey, we had a guy that got injured 2 weeks ago. We don't know if he did it on the job, let alone doing what it was doing, because the time has spent. They're required 24 hours. Sooner the better. Okay, all subcontractors, other prime contractors shall ensure the supervision is able to effectively communicate in English and any other language spoken by the contractor's employees. I was on a job about 6 years ago in Kitchell, and their whole crew was Russian. None of them spoke a lick of English. So, and they work hard, they're hard workers. You say they're using powder actuated guns. What's one thing you have to do with powder actuated guns? I mean, just give me an example.
5-gallon bucket of water.
That, you gotta put up signage, right? To warn everyone you're using powder actuated guns. They would put up their signs in Russian. I don't speak Russian. Okay? But that's what they would do. No fault of their own, but it was impossible to communicate with them. They have to have someone that they can communicate to, that you can relay the message to, because if there's that disconnect, what good is it? Okay? Ensure that the subcontractor's designated competent person is on site whenever the respective activity is being performed. Okay, on our contract, basically it says you need to supply at least one competent person, right? Let's say that person is driving into work that morning, has an accident, car accident, and his crew is on site working. Is that legal? No. Their competent person is not on site, they cannot work. So a good rule of thumb is to have them submit at least 2 people, so it doesn't interfere with the work process. All right, job site monthly safety meetings. Once a month, the superintendent shall have a meeting with all workers, Kitchell, and subcontractors to discuss job site safety issues. Danny, how often do you have yours?
Once a month.
Dan Dell, when do you have yours?
Once a month.
It's a great tool. You talk about what's going on. What's one of the worst things on a job site? Rumors, right? So, oh yeah, this guy over there, he cut off his finger. This guy over here, you know, gotta be careful, whatnot, whatnot. a great chance for you guys to talk about what's happening on the job site. First hand, first word. It's coming from you. This is a great time for you to do it. Some jobs are taking it a step farther, where if you get issued a safety infraction notice, that person has to stand in front of the whole group, whole job team that fall in the next month, and talk about what you learned during that process. Okay? It's powerful. It forces them to know it. Okay, jobs are encouraged to conduct drawings or other safety recognition programs at these meetings to promote job site safety and awareness. Okay, what are you guys doing to promote safety and awareness on your jobs? What are you doing other than under contract you're required to? Right? What are you doing to do the right thing? Mr. Doherty, what are you doing to promote safety on your job sites?
The past job, it was just public recognition. We've got plans on the next job to do something like the t-shirts or the gift cards. Then put it in the budget. I wasn't involved in the budget on the last job, so unfortunately, just public recognition.
But you know what? A pat on the back in front of your peers goes a long ways. It really does. To publicly say this guy's going above and beyond is great. Okay. So it's really good. Danny, what are you doing on your job?
Just verbal recognition.
Doesn't that go a long way? Attaboy. Mr. Dell, what are you doing on your job?
We just got t-shirts, 300 t-shirts for our guys for good job.
Those t-shirts are like crack. They want them. I know that's kind of an odd, phrase, but they want them. Should you get a t-shirt or an attaboy for just doing your job and going home, being lucky that you didn't get caught, or you didn't fall off the top step of that apron ladder? Now, it's above and beyond. Someone who is stepping above and beyond, taking leadership, taking control, doing the right thing. Okay? You want to make sure you're promoting that stuff. And again, if you don't have it in your budget because money's tight, if you don't have it in your budget, doing it, basically giving that person an attaboy in front of his crew is great. It really does go a long ways. Gets to walk around for the day with his chest out.
Give them one of the "What You Do Matter" stickers they'll put on their hard hats.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
It works. Awesome. What you do matters. That's a good point. What you do matters. Is that just for Kitchell, or is that like a directed question, or is that a group question? It's global. Because what you do affects everyone else around you. Not to pick on Rick Shear's age, but if he would have dropped dead right now of a heart attack, would it affect everyone in this room? Right? People would rush to his aid. People would feel sorry, feel bad that they lost such a wonderful, outstanding person. It would affect you. One way or the other. Physically, mentally, emotionally, doesn't matter. It would affect you. So what you do on the job site affects everyone on the job site. And that's a hard point to get across. Because everyone's thinking, schedule, gotta get this stuff done. Okay? Well, if you have an accident, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect a lot of stuff. Alright, so we really need to do our jobs at promoting safety. Okay, safety performance. Not really a whole lot has changed here. Okay, safety recognition we talked about, disciplinary actions. Okay, if Kitchell employees, we hate to basically, we consider everyone in Kitchell our family. Okay, brothers, sisters, whatnot. But if they're doing something wrong, they're affecting you, right? Now, if you basically give someone if you're a Kitchell person and you see a Kitchell employee doing something wrong, something that can kill him, you need to get past, well, I don't want to because I don't want there to be any attention to us. You need to look at it, I'm possibly saving that guy's life, or that lady's life. I'm saving that family from losing a loved one. Okay? You need to go above and beyond and get rid of the old feelings of, I can't do it because I don't want him to be upset with me. Okay? You need to do that because you possibly could be saving his life, because he could have his whole entire work career of being lucky. Okay. All right, subcontractor employees, first infraction of warning shall be given, documented on the safety action notice. Disciplinary actions, including termination, may be appropriate. Okay, again, you got to document it. Even though it's verbal, it's documented. You got to document it, because if it isn't documented, it never happened, right? So you got to look at it that way. Okay. Another thing too is you gotta worry about what Josh kind of touched on. Let's say you have a crew that has a hard time keeping their safety glasses on. Now, is it the crew's fault, or is it their supervision's fault? It's the supervision, because they're not enforcing, they're not doing what they're paid to do, which is to look out for the safest, best manner of their employees. So what are you gonna do? You need to get rid of the supervision and get someone in that will, okay? I don't think we're doing that enough, because we're basically scaling on the slide scale what's important and what isn't important, not safety glasses. Okay. All right, repeated safety violations by subcontractor workforce will be brought to the attention of the VP of Operations, Mr. Watson. Okay. Need to make sure we're doing that. How many of our superintendents on this job site have requested a foreman or supervision of a subcontractor to leave the job because he can't enforce the smallest safety rules? Okay, that's good. Seriously, that's awesome. Because you're doing what's right.
Did it work? No, but they said they'd talk to them, make sure, and some changes were made, but were they actually physically removed?
Okay. You physically removed?
Yeah, someone got the job.
I'm sure you didn't use it in those polite words. No,
Yeah, I did, because if it comes back and,
yeah.
you know, I'm not gonna say something that I'm gonna be embarrassed a week later, but, I don't get why we, you know, the 3 times why we have to put durations, because us guys who've been around, and we know guys that are just pulling our leg, as far as I'm concerned, there's no duration. Yeah, write a supplement up what you did, but tell them to get off the job.
Yeah,
So it's that simple. They work at our discretion.
And you're absolutely right. It's up to the discretion who has the ultimate authority of the job site safety, which is the superintendent. They can go from 0 to 3 in one leap instead of going 1, 2, 3. It's up to the discretion of the supervision.
And we would support that.
But we need to do something instead of just saying, gotta go for it. All right, subcontractor specific safety plan. Okay, this is a change. All subcontractors and tiered subcontractors shall complete the subcontractor specific safety plan. Subcontractor agreement will not be signed until this is completed. Are we doing this? Okay, we need to. One, this is a great tool because it tells your job team, or maybe who's not, like out in the field, who the competent people are, who to contact. Yeah,
We're doing that, and they're doing that with the subcontract agreements, but you, talk to the people in the field, they're competent people. They're not doing what you guys said you're supposed to. What are you talking about? We don't even know what you're talking about. So again, the subcontractor's management isn't putting down the line what they are giving to us on paper.
How can we correct that?
They'd have Mr. Watson talk to the subcontractor leadership.
There's always a copy on site in the file, make a copy and give it to their field supervisor so that they know what's going on. If their management isn't handling it, then it's up to Kitchell to step in and say, hey, this is what your management's saying you're doing. Because I've heard that a lot out in the field, that it's not flowing down from the subcontractors. So I would think it would be our responsibility to make sure the subs, the supervisors we're bringing in are aware of what their management is saying.
Because ultimately, who's responsible on the job? But who is ultimately responsible for everybody on that job site? Kitchell, right? So we need to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a job, we'll talk to a subcontractor and be like, who's your competent person? Well, he is. Go over and talk to him, who's your competent person? I don't know. Well, who's your supervisor? He's at the main office. Happens. Okay, we need to make sure we stop that. All right, some of the old stuff. I don't want to get into the meat and potatoes of this, but you can kind of tell the difference. You have the safety council meeting, really just talked about evaluation, improvement of the safety program. It just lists the members. Who's supposed to be there? Okay. The new one doesn't talk about who's going to be in the meeting. It talks about what they're going to accomplish, what their goals are. Doesn't matter what position you are, what the overall goal is, which is good. Any agreements on that? Because this right here says you will be there per your job title. This one says we want you to be there, and when you come, this is what we're going to work on.
Just so you guys know, we are actively recruiting new members for our safety committee. Mike Molesky and I sat down and got a good list of 12 people at least. So we would love to get your representation at the meetings, because this is what affects Kitchell in the field more than anything else. So we need more superintendents, more PMs, more people that live safety every day. I know Phillips volunteer, which is awesome when he's here, but he can phone in when he's gone. Anybody can phone in. We just want you to be a member. Okay?
I mean, to be a member here, there's no annual fee. You do get a weekly paycheck from Kitchell.
Yeah.
No toaster ovens, nothing like that. But you have input, you have a voice, you have another set of eyes, more experiences. You really do play a part in the overall safety of the company.
Hey guys, can you back up one slide? Right there. To me, that right there, subcontractor project-specific safety plan, talking about our sub-tier subcontractors, to me, that's like Mid-State Mechanical, and then they hire Climatech. And our subcontracts, we specifically prohibit piecework. We have a subcontractor that's run all 4 Banner clinics, a flooring subcontractor, who has pieced everything out. I had a meeting with them, actually put it in writing that they're to provide, what the contract says, which is provide written documentation that you want to use such and such, so we can evaluate those guys. I think we also need to put that in the safety plan, something about, piece workers are restricted on the job unless written authorization or approval. It's just another place to tie them to doing what's right by the subcontractor.
I agree.
To be able to tie to safety and articulate, hey, we're not picking on you, but this is a safety thing, and we need to evaluate who you're going to bring in this hospital or who you're going to bring in this clinic. Because I think I can speak probably for the other 3 guys in this room that's running these clinics. This particular subcontractor we've had the most problems with as far as safety compliance, quality compliance, bringing food and drink in. It's been a nightmare, and they're all piece workers, and they come in with this attitude, we're not tied to you guys, we work for such and such. Go talk to them. And then they're nowhere to be found, typically.
It's a big pain in the ass. So, I agree with that. It's a good point. Sure, we can work something out. What do you think, Pat?
See what you got. Submit it.
All right. Okay, we talked about the new, who here can name all the Kitchell contractors divisions? It's hard. We used to have Arizona division, all that other stuff, industrial division. It's hard. And we don't have enough people right now. So the division safety committee meetings are gone. Really, that's pretty much it. On the new one, job site monthly safety meetings, jobs are encouraged. They're drawing awareness and all that stuff. And then I want to put this in here too, is because some jobs aren't doing this. These are requirements. If you are doing any of these activities on your job, you have to do it. Okay. And these forms are all right there. This is one giant form. I think it's 18 pages. Is that all right, Danny?
What's that?
The pre-construction safety meeting, by 18 pages total. Yeah. But that covers all these topics. You don't have to print off 18 pages. You can a la carte it. Delete sections you know you're not going to cover. Okay. So you can do that. But we need to make sure, we need to get back on the track of doing this stuff, because it is a requirement. And it's a good idea because it brings out questions that need to be answered, that might just be forgotten. Yeah.
I know we used to do the superintendent, everybody, kind of like we're doing right now. There's a lot of superintendents that have come up through the trenches, worked on larger jobs, that they didn't have to deal with any of this stuff because another superintendent took care of it, the senior superintendent took care of it. Some of the guys don't understand where you're supposed to do all this. So they have to know what they're supposed to do because they weren't trained previously on other projects. They had other tasks to do and they weren't bothered with the pre-construction type stuff.
Now this is just a question. So, I mean, I'm asking literally a question. Superintendents have a mentoring program, right? Who's their mentor? Like if your project superintendent is a senior superintendent, your mentor? Or APS? So far mentors. Okay. And whether they're your mentor or not, if you know that they're doing this activity on their job site, whether it's a fall, PE and FE, or whatnot, we should all look through it, make sure we're doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
So another question, communication between, the safety team, field team, or the project management team is, how does the safety group know when new projects are created? Are you guys relying on the project teams themselves to reach out to the safety groups and saying, hey, we're starting this project on this and this date? Or how do you all know to work with both the operations and the safety team to work together?
I can tell you from my experience, just from the way I am, and for the people that I know and the company just due to me being here, I get calls from superintendents. Like, hey, we're starting up a project, I need your help with this. I go, oh, really?
Well, I'm just saying, to comment on Rick's comment, is there could be that gap.
Yeah.
Where if
There needs to be more of a
relying
process.
on that superintendent and he's not familiar with that process, there could be a gap there.
Yeah, I think during the Monday bi-weekly operations meetings, is there a list of possible or upcoming jobs?
We discuss current starter jobs and potential jobs. Dan Pierce is usually one. Every time we get awarded a real contract, that's usually issued prior to mobilizing to the sites. There's multiple ways to enter. We do have bi-weekly operations meetings that we discuss as well.
Okay. As soon as the superintendent's named to do an interview, okay, they're tagged for that project. That's on a list. They should be talking to you guys, and you just sit down and talk to the guys. Somebody said, you know what you're supposed to be doing, right? Some of the guys don't. That's what I was trying to get across. Some of the guys are just, this is the first time they've ever been out in the trenches by themselves. They've never dealt with it.
Yeah, and sometimes we hire a superintendent who hasn't been, I guess, want to say kitchelized.
Like the subcontractors, if they don't know what they're supposed to be doing safely, how can you demean them or enforce it? They have to know what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, isn't there a project startup checklist that you're supposed to be going through, and this is a part of that checklist? And if they're doing the checklist, that's the kicker, that triggers that to be done.
Yeah, the project.
And it also lists on there who's supposed to be doing it.
Yeah, on the project specific safety plan, it actually has the list, the checklist that's on it. Yeah.
So are you guys evaluating subs at the end of the projects?
Yes.
Are we doing that for them?
Yes.
I'm not really sure where that goes. I don't get it.
It goes into our, E1, and then as we update our subcontractor database of, it goes into that system so that as the teams are deciding who to invite on jobs, we can look at the past evaluations and what their score is. As we re-qualify subcontractors to become a pre-qualified sub in our database, that's also brought up. We print out a list of the jobs they were on and the scores that they received from the project manager and the superintendents. So it's used mostly in the design phase pre-con side as we're trying to decide who to use or to ensure that they're pre-qualified.
Okay, with those subcontract reviews, are those done at the end of the project?
Yes.
Okay. Me personally, I see a problem with that because we could be sending out bid requests from subs who we don't have a proper review of, and they're crappy.
Most of the time, if they are a very bad sub, it gets brought up in the operations meeting every other Monday.
Absolutely.
And Pre-Con has a watch list and a blacklist that they keep, and it gets updated and it gets discussed in that bi-weekly meeting as to who's being watched, who's the problem childs, are they definitely on the do not use list, or was it just a single bad job? Every other job's been fine. So that's discussed at those operation meetings.
Yeah, but who ultimately enters it into E1? Is it the PM? Is that the one who has access to it?
It's the superintendent sit together and do it, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Is that in our policy anywhere?
It's in the closeout, I think it's.
Rattle off a list here to everybody if they want to hear it. It's on the blacklist.
Now, are we doing our safety evaluations at the end of jobs for subs?
Or is that part of the?
It's part of the questions.
'Cause I know a form is going through the IT steering committee now that we're kind of revamping it, so that should be coming up in the near future. Because that's the part I have to actually refer to that, but I know I'm not going to see how they perform.
There's multiple ways to do it. I mean, there's the bi-weekly ops meeting, just pick up the phone and talk to your project manager or project director. Pick up the phone and talk to Josh Well. I mean, you don't have to wait till the end of the project if there's a safety issue, nor should you even consider waiting till the end of the project. If there's a safety issue, pick up the phone. Get Josh out there. If Josh assesses that it's a serious situation, myself or one of the other officers can get involved immediately. I mean, there's multiple ways to do that, guys. It doesn't have to be filling out a form. You have forms that are filled out to document in writing or the situation Mike has described. There's also an attempt to get rather than at the end of the project, a safety evaluation while the project is still occurring. Like if you got a site utility guy, the first 2 months, and you're saying, man, we should at least hire this guy with this foreman. I mean, you need to name names, and the converse is true. If you've got a foreman that's stellar, put his name down. This is somebody you should specifically request on your next project. So there's multiple ways to do it, and you just have to communicate, whether it's in writing or picking up the phone. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till the end of the project. Wait till the end of the project. They could be off somewhere else. The site utility example I gave you, it could be on 3 of our other projects, and if you would have alerted that this guy isn't somebody you want to keep on board, those guys are going to go through the same nightmare that you did. So share the information, whether it's good or bad. Share the information.
The other issue with that, if you wait to the end of the project, depending on the size of the project, half the people that may have dealt with that subcontractor may be on another project, and the person or persons left filling out those forms didn't deal with the subcontractor, so may not know how to answer all the questions.
Okay.
So,
Again, be proactive. Hey.
Yep.
I got one quick question. Who here has honestly, don't just raise your hand or keep your hand down. Who here has honestly read one of our safety manuals? Page to page. Front to back.
John, of course. Yeah. Mike.
These are the rules that you guys are required to uphold. Or not just required, that might be the wrong rule, wrong saying. These are the things that are going to make your life easier, knowing that you did everything you could to save someone's life. They're going to help you out. You really need to take the time. It's not as bad as reading the instructions manual, but it is.
I think we've all read it, maybe not, let's say read the whole thing, but whenever you're going through looking for things, you end up over a period of time, in a very short period of time, for a project, you pretty much see the whole contents of that. You have to define, the old way you had to define something. You had to look at every page to find it, so.
Yeah, Rick, just to piggyback that a little bit. Hey, I know it wasn't mentioned, but all our changes in our new manual revision are highlighted in yellow. Okay? We don't necessarily have time to go read the manual again, just look for those changes. We talked about the subscripts, for Cal OSHA, but if you see the yellow highlights, that's a change, or a line through it, or what have you. That's what you need to look for.
I mean, you almost have to read that manual every time you start up a job, but to be able to do a site-specific safety.
It's, every page is in there for a site specific, goes there.
And I think with any changes that are made, it's going to be, like an email is going to be sent out, like with new version 4.1 went up. That basically an email is going to be sent out, again, with highlighted changes. So, you will not be kept in the dark. All right, safety performance, disciplinary procedures, we talked about this again earlier. Basically, here's your safety action notice. And it talks about when to give, when not to give. All right, who here carries an iPad on the job site? Pretty handy dandy little machines. Okay, we have a bunch of these forms. I know we have the safety action notice that can be filled out on your iPad. Instead of basically waiting and then going back to your desk and filling it out, you have it right there. It's great. So we do have a bunch of PDF fillable iPad forms that you can do straight from your iPad as you're out in the field, which is great. It helps out.
Anybody fill these forms out? Okay. How about if someone's doing something good, like the positive reinforcement we're talking about? Has anybody filled one of those out for that? Or just when they screw up?
Just when they screw up.
Just when they screw up.
That's part of the culture.
That's the culture shift. Recognition.
There's a box up there that says safe behavior reward. No. All right, and incident procedures, again, we talk about the old and the new. Okay, the old is basically you would reference the emergency action plan and the crisis management plan, and then the new, depending on the severity of the incident, the senior project superintendent shall also notify the appropriate individuals in accordance with the crisis management plan. And then Josh is going to talk about this portion right here.
Are you guys familiar with the new crisis management plan? Only been revised because I started here, but you know what your responsibilities are, right? So make sure on any of those criteria that I'm copied on information, please. There's been a few things that have slipped through here in the last couple of weeks, only because maybe they don't know me or they don't know what our rules are. But anything, even if, I don't care if it's a near miss, I'll talk to you about it. You know, safety is about sharing information. So make sure I get a copy of that. How do you know a media is going to be contacted on something? You know, you could have a serious incident. It might not even involve Kitchell, but Kitchell's working there. How do you know they're not going to talk to one of our guys? You know, just make us aware of that, please.
And the big thing is let's say we have a job, okay? And there's a large project and there's a couple subs working on it. Say there's a sub working on the interior of a hospital. Say you don't see any signs, they have a job trailer, they have no posters. But then there's an incident. The media comes, what's one thing the media likes to use is helicopters. What's one thing we like to show? Our company name. They might not know it wasn't a Kitchell issue, but they'll see the company name and just assume it's Kitchell, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. Happened out at Phoenix Premium Outlets. Word got out due to rumors that Kitchell killed somebody. I was getting calls from subcontractors in Texas. Nothing to do, we never killed anyone, nothing like that. But the media jumped on it, went to the worst case scenario. Big issue, big hassle.
Is that that trench case?
Yeah, whereas a competent person stepped outside the box.
Or it may not even be a media item, but Chandler Fashion Mall.
Yeah.
Owner, subcontractor, contractor outside of Kitchell, we're running a job and they kill somebody, but they don't have signage. We do.
Yeah.
And go to an interview and then, you know, you get browbeaten by someone who thinks they know the situation and tells you, you killed someone on that job. We didn't. But they don't know better.
The internet searches pull up everything, whether right, wrong, rumors, whatnot. They're going to see an internet search that says, go back to a reference, you know, on the news, the video, helicopter showing Kitchell signs, fatality. They're just going to put one and one together and come up with that. So if there's any possibility, whether it is or not, you need to make sure we go about proper procedures. That's the whole process of
And
that.
don't talk to anybody.
Except for you and Sarah Fleury.
That's right. Right, Pat?
All right, Kitchell safety training and education. Okay, Kitchell new hire safety orientation. Okay, safety orientation shall be completed by all trades employees, including temporary employees, prior to employee performing work on the Kitchell job site. Project superintendent shall ensure the orientation is completed. The orientation must be supplemented with specific safety training. Kitchell job site supervision shall ensure that new employees are thoroughly familiar with the project required PPE and site hazards prior to assigning work. Okay. Remember the old thing we used to do with the red heart hat? Okay. That's no longer in the safety manual. Okay. But Kitchell, because superintendents need to ensure that this is being completed, orientation. Okay, if we have a job and it's kind of small and whatnot, and you have a guy on the job site more than 2 days and he hasn't gone through an orientation, and let's say he has an accident, OSHA comes out, have we done our part to warn him of any hazards? No.
So Josh spoke earlier about the new orientation or safety training video. Is that going to be copied to everybody like we used to have?
Yeah, we got this.
It's going to be posted on the safety intranet as well, and also YouTube. So if you want to just go to the safety intranet page and click the link, that's fine.
It's good to have the disc because there are some jobs where we go off of those air cards where it's almost impossible to even get an email.
Every job I've been on for like.
So we do have discs available. Got it. So that's all gonna be done. All right, again, specialized training. Talk about the superintendent project team shall ensure that sufficient number of persons on the job have received CPR first aid, AED training at a minimum. One Kitchell employee, one person from each subcontractor shall be CPR certified. Kitchell field supervision shall attend an OSHA 10-hour every 4 years. Superintendents are like this, senior superintendents, because this is an OSHA 30-hour. Is it really an OSHA 30-hour? Or is it an OSHA 60, 72? Mike, how many hours did you spend?
It was close to 60 to get through the OSHA 30 by the time you're all said and done.
Okay, strongly encouraged.
Has to be a quick safety.
That's not just Molesky, okay, sports fans?
So, I mean, Dave, how many times did you have to start over again because it kept on losing your progress?
Had 4, 5, 6 times, had to start over.
It's gonna
Took
take.
the test, and got to the end of the test, got to question 82, and it all went blank. Had to start over, test out of 100 questions.
Wow.
And you only got, once you start it, you only got 6 months.
From the day you click that button, start.
It took me, with nights and weekends and that, just doing it after hours, trying to find free time, 5 months to get it done.
Why are we having to do that on our own time? Why is that provided to us as a group, like they did the one time? So it was a little inconvenient for the superintendents leading jobs.
It's more cost effective. Well, I'll just speak from the cost side of things. When we did the OSHA 30-hour, it is extremely difficult to get superintendents from all over the western United States into a room where we can only teach 5 hours a day. It's extremely expensive, whereas this, you can do it at home, you can do it at work. It's just like, on that side of things, I can't answer from, not giving time at work, but I can talk about that other side. So
you're not, you haven't quit it yet, is that what you're saying?
What's that?
Have you started it? No.
Easiest way to get through is just chip away at it, it really is. Right.
Yeah, and the reality of it is, we all know how our day goes in the trailer.
Right.
I went in early, started online, and then all of a sudden, come 7:30, people are coming in, bugging you, and then all of a sudden, it's 6 o'clock at night, and it's still sitting there idling, so, you do it after, you end up doing it after hours and on weekends, just because you can't get dedicated computer time during the workday. Same thing, I was in New Mexico when I did it, so I couldn't fly here for the 4 days to get it done face up.
I mean, who has actually sat in an OSHA 30-hour when you have a physical instructor right in front of you? Okay, those are the most boring classes I have ever sat through. I wanted to shoot myself. They're painful.
Well, I wanted to shoot you.
No, I did teach one, but, whatever. But at least it gives you the time, it gives you the convenience of doing it as you wish, as you want, your time, your duration. It's on you. I think Mike said that you drank a couple beers while you're taking the class.
I didn't. No, I sat like on a Saturday afternoon at home. We just flew out 4 or 5 hours at a crash finally at the end to get it done.
And it's good that way. All right. How many people have passed the safety competency exam?
People knew there was a safety competency exam.
Okay, well, I gave the test to a lot of people.
But that was a ways back.
That was way back, okay. It used to be a requirement that the annual safety competency exam would be completed. We weren't following that rule. And on top of that, no one was passing it. I wrote that test and I made it hard for a reason. But it wasn't that hard because it was all out of the safety manual. But people were passing it. So we changed it up. We're doing safety modules where it's broken up. Fall protection, 10 questions. Excavation, 10 questions. It's a lot easier. Open book. Okay. If you got dual monitors, presentation, test, click. Oh shit. Okay, click. I'm not going to cheat, but you're going to learn something. At least you're taking the effort. Previously, no one was taking the effort. So we do have that done. Fall protection, no changes. What's wrong with this picture? Okay. You can see that this, at least from the picture, it looks like he's up on the roof. I wonder how many people he walked by before someone actually took the time to stop him. Is that you and him, Drew?
Nope.
Right, that's so that must be your job.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a Kitchell job, I got this online,
Okay.
so.
Too many mountains on the wrong side.
But I think that's hilarious. Someone actually,
So this is like a serious photo?
it's
They're
like,
not
this
goofing
is
around?
crisscross fall protection. That was crisscross, they used to wear the clothes backwards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was online. I said, funny fall protection photos. This was the #1 picture that popped up. It's funny. Personal protecting equipment, no changes. Okay, concrete masonry. Kind of hard to see here, pictures. But during concrete pouring activities, any worker, Kitchell, or other contractors, notice how it says, or other contractors, that pretty much covers everyone. Okay, with high risk of exposure to wet concrete, or some with sensitivity to wet concrete and easily burned shall wear appropriate body protection, face shields, rubber gloves. Okay, it used to have Tyvek suits. Okay, it's not in there anymore, but at a minimum. Okay.
You guys should add, and this may sound minute, but it can be a big deal because it happened to me on a project. Something in there relating to epoxy grout for surrounding tile. Epoxy grout really affects a lot of people differently. Some guy that doesn't bother at all, one company I know does mountain tile, they have 2 people that they let do epoxy grout. There's only 2 people in the company, that they don't end up looking just like that, if they get it on their skin.
I mean, I'm sure we could probably specifically call that up if you want to email that.
I got another quick input here. I was on a job about 5 years ago. We were placing concrete on the 4th floor deck of a building, and a guy got concrete in his eyes, one of our finishers. And there was no water around, no eye wash solution. From when he got in his eye to 5 minutes to get the water, he lost 80% of his eyesight, just because of the lime and whatnot in concrete. So for all of you guys are out there and you're placing concrete, which we do on many of our jobs, get some water out there in case something does happen. As we all know, when we're placing concrete, you're breathing heavy, your glasses are fogging. Most guys take them off. Or they put them up here or down here, and they're not in their eyes. And it doesn't take much for that just to splash up, get in your eyes, and it burns. And your eyes is the worst place. So just take it from experience. It could happen, so think about that next time you guys are placing concrete.
All right, Sid just asked, Sid Carlisle just emailed the question, texted the question. Okay, what are mushroom caps? You guys know what mushroom caps are for rebar caps? Shaped like a mushroom. Okay, it is under concrete masonry work. It's not under wet concrete protection, but we're still seeing those on the job site. Those are not allowed. Period. End of discussion. They're not allowed on the job site.
They got to be flat, steel reinforced.
Okay, those mushroom rebar caps, they make bigger holes. So that's all they do. All right. Hope that answers your question, Sid. Stairs and ladders, still no changes. I get a lot of questions. Are stilts allowed? Yes, stilts are allowed. Kitchell allows them in Arizona. I don't believe they're allowed in California. Kevin, are they allowed in California?
No.
Don't.
No.
No.
Oh,
How many Kevins we got?
Bird, sorry. All right. Thank you. Okay, urban legend. Not to pick on individuals or whatnot, but John Heil was very good about sending out directives and never documenting them. One of his things was we didn't allow metal ladders. Okay? We do allow metal ladders. I can ask this question a lot. Metal ladders are allowed, but if you ever see an electrician using a metal ladder, you need to really consider who you're allowing to bid your project. Okay? Okay. But metal ladders are allowed. I just wanted to put that out there because we're trying to get rid of urban legends. If it's not documented specifically in the OSHA or in the safety manual, then it's allowed. Okay. I like this photo.
Teamwork.
Look at the lady, she's like, what? Like his arms don't get tired. Active out.
See, this is actually a pretty cool website they have right there, thereifixedit.com. So that's a pretty good one. Okay, so no changes in the ladders really. Okay, scaffolding.
Chair, jacuzzi.
Now, obviously, we haven't seen it to this extent, but how often do we see people basically piece together stuff like this? We see it here in the main office sometimes, not necessarily to that extent, but we see it. We definitely see stuff like that on the job site. Not with the hot tub and whatnot, but stuff like that. So no changes. Personnel control.
No way.
No changes. That's the view.
Wait, I got it. So talk about, I mean, something like this. Literally, it was yesterday morning. I watched a guy on a motorcycle who had a full-size spade shovel underneath his arm here and bungee cord to the handlebars. I'm not kidding you.
American needs ditch diggers. Survival of the fittest is all I can say. All right, housekeeping, no changes. Okay, Sid asked the question, what about ceiling guys skating on Baker or Perry scaffold? Okay, it's not allowed. You need to get a lot of wheels. Got a lot of screws. Yeah. When you get up on scaffold, if it's on wheels, it's gotta be locked before they get up. If they need to move it, they need to get down and move it that way.
Including the drill-operated motor ones?
I had yet to see one of those on the job site. They're designed for that, but I think we as Kitchell would probably just stick with, you need to get down.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I know they're out there.
If you skate on, per OSHA, this is OSHA's definition, is you need to have a perfectly clear floor, clean, no obstacles, no nothing. And then that's how you can be moved on. Okay. But we're in construction, not the floor is ever clear.
No.
Power tools, no changes. I don't know if you guys can see it, it's a drill put up to a meat grinder.
Burger there.
So Jeff Johnson, we got a response saying that brakes that are operated from the deck of Baker scaffolds. Send me a picture, Jeff. I'd like to check it out, share with everybody. This would be a good patent opportunity for some people.
Alright. Mobile equipment, okay, seat belts when provided, okay, when provided. I know a lot of times I get a lot of kickback from the job teams because we're starting to use more towards like gators, golf carts, whatnot. They don't come with seat belts, they go and they come on the aftermarket, okay? If it doesn't come with it, you don't have to use it, okay? But when provided, seat belts shall be worn when operating the equipment. Okay, the person operating has to be authorized and thoroughly trained, and temporary employees shall not operate mobile equipment unless approved by the Kitchell Safety Department. So our labor-ready workforce, whatnot, cannot operate anything other than a broom and a shovel. They get authorization from the Kitchell Safety Department. Okay, again, mobile equipment operations. Operators on aerial lifts shall use fall protection that will not allow their body to go over the guardrails. Users of both aerial lifts and scissor lifts are not allowed to climb on the guardrails. You have to ask this a lot. Well, can I climb on a guardrail if I'm tied onto the structure? No, you can't. You're not allowed to. Manufacturer specifically calls it out. The big thing we're not enforcing out there on the job sites on aerial lifts, okay, between the heights of 0 and 18 feet, the operator has to use either a retractable or a 3-foot lanyard. Because that's going to keep them, because the way you calculate it out, if they use a 6-foot lanyard between 0 and 18 feet, they're going to hit the ground. So they got to use a 3-foot lanyard between 0 and 18. Above 18 feet, they can use a 6-foot lanyard. Okay, we're not really enforcing that. We need to do a better job of that. Sign the barricades, no changes. I like this picture. Steel erection, I could not find any funny steel erection photos. Okay, but no changes. Okay, temporary electrical. Okay, safety manual, temporary cords. All temporary electrical cords shall be elevated off the ground when available. This includes extension cords and welding cords. Okay, we need to get in the habit of this. Not many jobs are doing this. We need to get in the habit of it. And when they are doing it, at the time they're using baling wire. Can you suspend any electrical cord with a conductive piece of material? No. Okay. So we need to make sure we stand the people about that. Okay. They got to be cleaned up at the end of each day. Why is that a good practice to clean up your stuff at the end of each day? Roll it up and put it away.
Inspect that cord.
Inspect the cord. Could have been damaged, could have been run over, and it makes them inspect it the next morning. So there's additions to that, and also it's good housekeeping. Extension cords are expensive, especially construction grade, and they tend to walk off the job site, so if they clean them up, at least they know that they're going to have them the next day. Hot work. Okay, this one might be a little bit misleading. Hot work doesn't necessarily have to do with electricity. I just like that photo. So, no changes to hot work. So, just think in this country, from India, that's probably a common practice. Okay, excavations, changes. During construction, all digging within 2 feet in any direction of an identified utility digging shall be done by continuous hand, probing, or by vacuum process. Okay. Workers above vertical excavation greater than 6 feet deep shall be protected from hazards in accordance with the 29 CFR 500. Okay. Excavation shall be protected by warning lines, barriers. Type of protection will be determined by the level of exposure. So if we have an excavation out in the public area that's, say, a foot deep, do we still need to really, really protect that? More so than if it was in our fence line? Yes. How many of you guys remember the incident we had at Banner Baywood a couple years ago? That excavation was what, a foot deep? And how many nurses and doctors jumped over, around, and through our barricades and still let themselves down? A bunch of lemmings. So, all right, confined space. Okay, basically you got your old here and the new here. I really wanted to show right here is that you have to, again, it's got the hyperlinks, different. You have the construction, 1926, general industry, 1910, and then your Title 8 California Code. So, but the big thing right there. So, and those are all, I mean, as they're hyperlinked on this, they're hyperlinked in the manual. Anything that you see underlined and bold, those are all hyperlinked. Okay, no blasting changes. That'd be cool if you do that. Demolition. There's like 6 different photos. These photos were like, these 2 buildings are right here. And then one of them blew up and went the wrong way and went into traffic in China. And then the other picture at the end, that one building stayed there, and then the other one is just kind of leaning like this, and there's people walking underneath its shadow. Public. Okay. Yeah. It might take out a couple. All right, flammable combustible. Okay, the old plan is changed. The new plan, general storage approval containers must be used for handling and storage containers. Flammable combustible liquids and containers greater than 25 gallons shall be stored in secondary containment tanks, systems, especially constructed berms. Remember, I still got a lot of questions. Like the old plan was, if you had more than 25 gallons of fuel in the tank, you had to get approval from the safety manager. Remember that old plan? And the new one is, it's up to the superintendent. Okay. Public protection. Can't really tell those are porta potties, and one of them fell over. Probably open to the public. All right, cranes. Who here has read the new crane standard? No one. It is confusing as heck, okay? But there are changes. There's a lot of changes to it. Okay, any contractor conducting activities involving crane shall have individual designated as a competent person for crane activities as a job site and at all times during the complete duration of the contractor's crane activities. Additional During assembly and disassembly activities, the competent contractor shall provide, basically, assembly, disassembly director to supervise the operation. Okay, we want to talk about what is a crane. I'm just going to let you guys know what a crane is, per OSHA's definition. Let's go 200, I want to see this here. All right, so this is the OSHA definition of a crane. The standard applies to power-operated equipment when used in construction that can hoist, lower, or horizontally move suspended load. Such equipment includes but not limited to articulating cranes such as knuckle boom cranes, crawler cranes, floating cranes, cranes on barges, locomotive cranes, mobile cranes such as wheel-mounted, rough terrain, all-terrain, commercial truck-mounted, boom truck crane, multi-purpose machines configured to lift and hoist by means of a winch and hook. Talking about horizontally moved suspended load industrial cranes such as carry deck cranes, dedicated pile drivers, surface and mechanic cranes with hoisting devices, a crane on monorail, power cranes such as fixed jib, hammerhead or boom, luffing boom or self-erecting, pedestal cranes, portal cranes, overhead gantry cranes, saddle cranes, side boom cranes, derricks, variations of such equipment, however it is listed. Okay, so we talk about multi-purpose machines when configured to hoist and lower. It's one thing that we use a lot, that iron workers like to use a lot. Forklift. Okay. If they have a winch or a hook, which is an attachment, it's considered a crane. And what does Kitchell require if you have a crane on the job site? Pre-construction, meaning you have to have, it has to be CCO.
Get a crane operator operating for.
So, just want to bring that to your attention.
One that I question, or not question, I understand what they're calling there, but boom truck. Boom truck would fall under the category of guys stocking drywall.
Okay, the situation with that is boom truck. If you have a guy picking up drywall, and I just want to follow this because I'm running short on time. You have a guy picking up drywall, he sets it on the ground, it's not considered a crane. He sets it on the pad of the building, it's considered a crane.
So every job we got elevated floors to bring out boom trucks. With cradles to lift drywall, the operator needs to be a crane operator. Someone needs to get the word out. Someone needs to get the word out to the AROCs, the MKBs, everyone else in the world that when they show up on the job, we're going to tell them to go home if they don't have a crane operator.
If they set the material on the pad.
Set it on the ground and forward it into the building.
Yeah, then you're fine. But if they set it on the pad inside the building.
They set up a cradle, they lift it there on the
Yeah,
left.
that's considered.
Just so you guys know, they delayed the certification of the crane operators 2 years, 2015 now. There's been a lot of feedback like this. They're trying to determine who's going to apply.
All right, I'm just going to go over here. We've got monthly crane inspections, annual crane inspections need to be submitted, basically monthly, daily, all that good stuff, operator certifications, stuff. I'm just going through this. Okay, office safe work practices, no changes. Okay, ASCOM communication. Who knows about the GHS, Globally Harmonized Systems? Okay, it's the new program that's coming out. It's basically taking into effect everyone that works for Kitchell, and every employee has to be trained on this by December 1st. Field employees has to be trained by this by December 1st of this year. Okay, everyone. Field employees, sorry.
So basically PM and down, we're thinking that's going to go through this training. It's probably going to be a video orientated, less than 30-minute training. Going to go over all the changes on our SDS now. It's not an MSDS, an SDS, safe data sheet. And then also all the labeling requirements that are coming down. Those are the two main driving forces on this new ASCOM, which is the right to understand now. It's a global positioning. So anybody in Africa or United States, United Kingdom will all have the same. So by December 1st, PM and local, we're going to have to go get this training. We're just trying to develop how we're going to do it, probably over the internet, but it's just going to be coming here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and then everything is going to be basically in effect, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, June 1st, 2015. That's when everyone worldwide needs to comply with this. So. All right, working with Energized Systems, basically the old plan, I know it did say that you needed to get signature of the Senior Vice President of Operations. We've had superintendents that have argued that fact, but it's actually Operations Vice President or a company officer. Pat, who are our company officers?
Dan Pierce, Jake Crowley, Brad Gable, myself.
Pat. Dan Pierce, Dick Crowley, Dan Gable, Pat Watson.
Yeah. Brad Gable.
Brad Gable, sorry.
Dan Gable.
Dan Gable. Dan Gable, thinking wrestling, Iowa, you know. My bad. Alright, so those are the people. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Those are the people that have to approve it and sign it. Okay? And also Josh. He used to say safety director / manager. That was just Josh. So. Respiratory protection, no changes. Water intrusion management, no changes. It's hard to find funny pictures of water intrusion management. Okay. Infectious control and interim life safety, no changes. Fleet services, no changes.
That's fine.
Okay, any questions? Biggest thing I want to take out of this, that you guys take out of this presentation, is that reoccurring theme is we are all responsible to enforce company safety.
Hey, real quick, for those of you that are remote, please do a sign-in sheet and scan it, and
they're sending it to Jesse.
Okay.
By name.
And then there's sign-in sheets out here in the causeway too for folks in the Phoenix office who didn't initial out here.
I want to thank everybody for attending. Again, we set a record, so you know we're committed to safety. And I know you are too, so I want to thank all of you for enjoying or being with us today. Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. And we're here to help. We're all here to help each other out. Take teamwork. Hopefully we're giving you a new perspective on your outlook on safety, because we really want to celebrate greatness. We want to be the best. And we can get it.
I have a question. You kept focusing on documenting infractions, good behavior, employee training. Are all those forms on the website or on the internet? And then who do they go to once like a new employee has gone through safety orientation?
All right, so I don't know. I'll take this, Josh. But okay, infractions, safe behavior, good safe behavior. Okay, you got your safety infraction notice. You want to keep that. You want to keep that. And then if it's an official infraction, we need to send it to HR. So they have documentation. They can go into their employee folder. If it's a subcontractor, you can keep it on a job site and do a CDM. Okay. What was the other question?
New employee safety orientation. I'm assuming that there's a form that would get filled out. Who would that go to?
Yeah, there's a check sheet basically with new employees, you know, fall protection, MSDS, stuff like that. And that would go to the main office as well. And then, like, say, any additional safety training that you might do, you need to make sure you basically submit for Kitchell employees, submit it down to Jesse Johnson or Darcy, and they will input it into their individual safety record or training history.
So what about like the weekly safety?
Toolbox meetings? Toolbox meetings are considered safety training.
That's state of the job.
No. Well, it depends.
It's an archive of the job.
It is archive of the job, but under, maybe we can talk about that. Because it is considered training under OSHA. So.
As long as it's in CDM, anybody would be able to access that. So if Jesse needed it.
Right. Okay, anything else? Bueller? Bueller? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
What?
I think when you said that, I got a drop. Mine.
It's Starbucks.
So you backed off.
I backed off.
No, it's great.
Did you go to one with Darcy?
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, get out of here. Good. We don't like your kind of people. Good, I'm not going there anymore. See you later, Casey.
See you, have a good one.
Details, details.
How are you?
Tired before, okay?
Keep you busy? No?
Thanks, Darcy.
Now it's gonna go to his head.
Good job monitoring this, and picking up some of the questions that were coming, especially there towards the end.
It's gonna go to his head now. And
No.
all right, good, yourself? Good. Yeah, it was just sweet music to the ears, but.
Nice, nice, nice.
I like it. I like your, good job, Scotty.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
That was good.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Hey,